This is Sort 40, Number Prefixes. We have 5 categories this week. We have quad, quint, or pent, oct, dec, dec, and cent, C-E-N-T. So for these, we have 5, but they're all number prefixes. So each of these prefixes are going to correlate or correspond with a particular number. These prefixes are also Latin and Greek. Some of them are Latin, some of them are Greek. And so that's why it's so important to learn those prefixes and root words so that you are able to identify the definition just based off of how words are spelled. So for the quad, first, you may be really familiar with this. We have 4 quads in a school year. So quad means 4. The quint and the Latin quint and the Greek pent mean 5. So both of these mean 5, but they are different because one comes from Greek and one comes from Latin. The next one is the Greek prefix meaning 8. For dec, it's a Latin prefix that means 10. And cent is a Latin prefix that means 100. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at our word list here. And we're going to go over each word, and then we're going to put them into our table. Okay. We have quartet, quintet, octagon, decade, centimeter, pentagon, octet, quadrangle, century, quadruped, quintuplets, quarter, decathlon, centigrade, octave, centennial, quintessence, quadruple, decimal, quadruplets, decimate, bicentennial, quintessential, and percentage. We're going to go ahead and take those words, and we are going to put them into our table based off our headings. Let's go ahead and look at quad, and remember that it is the Latin prefix that means 4. All right, let's go ahead and look at our quad. Now, pretty easy. All of these are going to begin with the prefix quad or Q-U-A-R, meaning 4. And for example, let's look at quarter. Right here. Okay, there are a quarter, just like we have a quad in a school year, we have 4. Okay. 4 quarters make $1. Quarter means 4. Okay, quadrangle, 4 sides, so on and so forth. Let's go ahead and skip next door to quint and pent, which both mean 5. All right, so we have fewer words, but we have quint and pent, all meaning 5. So both of these words right here, let me change colors. Quintessence and quintessential, you may have heard those words before, but I want to kind of talk about why 5 ties into this. So the root or the history of these words, based in medieval times when people believed in the 4 earthly essences, which is part of our word here, here, and here. Medieval people believed in the 4 earthly essences of life, so air, earth, fire, and water. And quintessence refers to non-earthly or heavenly. So if the essences is air, earth, fire, and water, that's 4 essences they believed in. But the quint, or the 5, would be the 5th essence, which would be the heavenly or non-earthly essence. So when you see that or hear that word, it means higher than earth or essence. So an example of a sentence would be, my mom has the quintessential recipe for tacos. Okay, so that means above everyone else, or like so good it's heavenly. Okay, so that's where these 2 words come from and how quint, the 5, the number 5, goes with that definition. Let's go ahead and hop over to the next category, which is oct. We know that the Greek oct means 8. So let's go ahead and see what words are on our list. Okay, so we have 3 words here, and we have octagon, we have octet, and we have octave. The first one is an octagon. That's a shape that has 8 sides. We have an octet, which is a group of 8 people that make up some kind of orchestra or band that's filled with 8 people. And then we have an octave, which I actually didn't know what that was about, but it's actually a musical word that means an interval whose higher note has a sound wave frequency of vibration twice that of its lower note. Okay, so we have 3 words: octagon, octet, and octave. So let's go ahead and one more hop, the 4th hop, to the DEC, or dec, meaning 10. This comes from the Latin prefix dec. All right. So let's go ahead and look at the words that we have in this specific category here. Our first one is decade. Decade, we know, is 10. It's 10 years. So every time we have 10 years pass, it's a new decade. When 2020 happened, that was the beginning of a new decade. Decimal is every time there is a higher than 10, it moves to the next place value, or the decimal can change. A decathlon is a 10 event contest. There's 10 events. Some of those events are the 100 meter, long jump, shot put, high jump, 400 meter. So it's made up of 10 different track events. And then decimate. All right, so we're going to go ahead and look at our 5th and final category, which is cent, C-E-N-T, which is the Latin prefix for 100. All right, so our fifth and final group, we have quite a few words. We have centimeter, we have century, centigrade, centennial, bicentennial, and percentage. So let's go ahead and look at the first, centimeter. A centimeter is a metric of measurement, it's length, and it is equivalent to 1/100th of a meter. So we have meter in the word here, and then we have cent, which we know is 100. And so both of those together, a centimeter is 1/100th of a meter. So that's one of the reasons why you learn root words, prefixes, suffixes, so that you can help determine the meaning of a word if you come to it and you're not sure what it means. We have century, which is 100 years. We have centennial. If an event or a place has been in existence for 100 years, it can celebrate, or it will celebrate, its centennial, which basically means that it has lasted 100 years. So kind of similar to century being 100 years, but centennial is lasting for 100 years. We also have bicentennial as well, which is going to be similar, but we do have a little bit of a change at the beginning of the word, so watch out for that. Bicentennial is actually the 200th anniversary of an event, of an important event. So centennial meaning 100 years, bicentennial meaning double that, or 200 years. Okay, so our 5 categories all relating to numbers. And your goal, for this week would be to really be on the lookout for other words that you see that either fall into these categories or that have other number prefixes as well.